a lot of very, very fast heroes, and you just want to be able to take those points as quickly as possible, and then just hold on for dear life. So I think once or twice I saw like Lucio McCree ultimate combinations, for example, that rush in high noon on speed before anything can happen, clear the point, capture it, and then switch out to other heroes and just stodge up and defend. I've seen that happen once or twice. It's a lot of fun. And when we're now going with the Lucio speed actually from Unknowns as they race towards the checkpoint, both sides really getting there as quickly as possible. And wow, it's already all out for all.
Yeah, there's so much, so many effects happening right now. Just projectiles in every single direction. I see Symmetra orbs floating through the doorway. We've got obviously multiple tracers on the field right now. 4 tracers total, as well as a couple of soldiers. It's just a literal firefight. No tanks anywhere.
Just go bullets, rockets.
Yeah. Do you have bullets or rockets?
Things.
You'll be fine. There's even a Genji on the field right now, but it looks like we're going to have Team Unknown be the first team to claim the objective. They did get the better end of the kills there. I think InternetHulk on Tracer is something that I haven't actually seen very much of. InternetHulk is typically their tank player, and they decided that that's not necessary here for the King of the Hill map. It's essentially being stolen right now by Mendo on Tracer, but once they realize the cap is under fire, they run in and chase him away. InternetHulk and Mendo both using the same Tracer skin. That's an interesting tactic as well there, just to maybe provide a little additional confusion. Ooh, big Tracer bomb there. It does take out a lot of HP from Unknown, and they are going to get cleared out. IDDQD will reclaim the point.
Like the idea behind having Winz on Symmetra there in that situation as well. Rather than for the teleporter, because the teams do spawn quite close, it was more to do with being able to put a couple of sentries in place to try and limit the number of places IDDQD can come in from. Unfortunately, IDDQD then managed to outmuscle Unknown through the front door, but I like the idea of Winz there, just trying to limit their options. Unfortunately, though, now in the meantime, it's going to be really difficult to use that Symmetra in an offensive role as much as, say, you know, a hit point scan kind of hero, or maybe someone like Farah, where it's going to be a little bit easier to do a lot of damage.
Symmetra has a few uses here in King of the Hill. The shields onto the Tracers is actually probably the largest bit, because a Tracer can regenerate their shield just by getting out of combat for a short time, find those health packs, get right back up to full. 200 health Tracer is much scarier than a 150 health Tracer. Once a team does claim the point, which IDDQD is still in control, they do have the option of placing Symmetra turrets all over the point, which is definitely nice. Anytime a Tracer tries to sneak in there, she could get zapped down, and it actually alerts the Symmetra whenever any of her sentries are taking fire or dealing damage, so you can use it.
I don't know, Joshy, because the worrying thing is, if that's all really good once you actually get to the point, but what if the what if the Tracers can't actually take the point on their own? It's really difficult to sort of barge through the front door like that, is it? Or is there something else Symmetra can do to try and wrestle that away from them?
I mean, well, you know the value of the teleporter as well. It can be difficult to get a value out of it with Tracers on both sides, because Tracers will obviously seek and destroy those teleporters anytime they hear about them. But right now, we see again Symmetra coming into play.
Ow!
The teleporter was in the top right. Tracer did eventually kill it, but they got 1 or 2 teleports out of it, and now you can see the sentry turrets being placed all over the point once again as Unknown does regain control. It's very difficult to kind of track. It used to be a little bit easier to watch these King of the Hill matches when everyone was using double Winston, double Lucio, double Reaper. It was a very like area of effect, ground and pound, but now it's very separate. It's very all over the place. You can't really watch just one character, because obviously they're all Tracers and they're all soldiers and they're all, you know, Genji and what have you. Pluppie has swapped onto Soldier himself now, but it's very disjointed. Basically, no one really fights over the point itself until all the kills have gone through, and they're fighting all over the place rather than just on the point.
And the nice thing about Symmetra as well, but more in a defensive capacity, is that the turrets do limit the movement of those Tracers a lot as well. You can't just sort of blindly rush into somewhere only to start taking damage. You need to be aware of where Symmetra is and where she's likely to have been. So it does limit the movement ever so slightly, and Cocco at the moment was enjoying a lot of defensive maneuvering. Hang on a second, we have Soldier 76 trying to take as many people out as possible. It looks like that was Kryw just managed to dive. No, that's Pluppie, pardon me, that's 2 for him now and counting.
Excellent kills there in succession for IDDQD. Watching Cocco, I was watching Cocco on Symmetra with the Lucio speed boost and the sound barrier, just running around with left click up, just like looking for targets, like please walk into my laser so I can kill you. And it was pretty amusing to see her just sprinting around. There, the Symmetra turrets actually help gun down Unkoe trying to get back onto the point. We are in overtime right now, so there is some contesting happening. This is where, you know, it really matters for you to work as a cohesive force. Transcendence, obviously, from Zenyatta covers the entire point, so everyone is going to stay up from IDDQD. We're going to see a lot of individual blinks and in and out trying to continue to contest, but once those tracers are down, you can see IDDQD will successfully take point A here on Nepal.
Yeah, that's going to be it. I think when you got to a point where we were saving Transcendence specifically for overtime, that's kind of the point where, you know, okay, we've more or less got this in control. And during that time, we had Winz and AKM both going down. We then ended up in a 6v4 situation just after Transcendence was popped. And a couple of those guys were tracers as well. So they're dashing in and out while there's this massive death ball kind of sat on top of the point. There's only so long you can offer resistance.
All right, point B is a little bit different setup, but you can see both teams sticking more or less to the same composition, except Kryw now has swapped onto Widowmaker. Widowmaker can one-shot, body shot a Tracer at full charge, but not with that 50 extra shield from Symmetra. So Widowmaker is an interesting choice. I'll just have to keep an eye on the kill feed essentially to see how much damage Widowmaker is actually able to do, and if he does end up swapping, we'll see that obviously along the bottom. But right now, you'll notice no one's really fighting over the point. At the top of your screen, you see the control point doesn't unlock for the first 30 seconds of battle, so they're going to take their time killing whoever they can before really duking it out on the point. And there is a big line of sight blocker here in the center of the point as well, which can be very nice for Lucios and for Tracers to be able to blink and just wall right around to stay out of line of sight. It looks like Unknown is going to be the first to take over the point again on the backs of their Tracers.
Wow, and a very nice chuck on Kryw as well. Throwing the grenade almost to exactly where Pluppie is as well. That was a beautiful throw from all the way over there next to the bell tower. Very, very nice to keep as many players out of the game as possible. Just real, obviously something that you practice quite a lot there, and we're going to have to see a regroup and coming back in now.
Pluppie now swapping the Widow as well. So we've got a Widow on both sides, so it must have been effective for them to want to swap as well. But now that the point is open, it makes more sense because Widow knows where her targets are going to be a little bit. There's also this point way up here on this ledge where Pluppie just was. He just jumped down, but essentially up by the bell on the attacking side arch. You could stand up there and just shoot down at the point.
He's trying to find Kryw, but he hasn't been able to get the line of sight yet, unfortunately. Oh, and Kryw sees where he is. He's spotted behind the elephant, and boom! Ooh, not quite catching Pluppie with the first shot there. This is actually quite an awkward sort of 1v1 to take, but Kryw does win out, managing to snipe off Pluppie there. And is Pluppie going to stay on Widowmaker?
We'll find out in just a moment. Kryw is taking some shots down at the point now. Pluppie is going to stay on that Widowmaker. Pluppie and Mendo both are very solid Widow players. I've seen them practice all the time in their pub games as well, so always trying to stay sharp on their sniping skills. But right now they've flipped the point once again back into the favor of Unknown, and Kryw again in the kill feed. They're taking out Tracer, InternetHulk, and Pluppie doing the same for his side. So Tracers and Widows are the story of Nepal B here.
Now Transcendence to potentially rush out here for IDDQD if required. They're actually getting quite close to the point now. I'm wondering if he's going to pop that, moving straight onto the point. There's a Transcendence we were talking about coming out of Chips, and everyone collapsing in on the point right now. It doesn't look like there's too much Lucio. Oh, hang on a second. A little bit of an explosion on the point.
Huge pulse bomb. 3 kills for Unkoe.
How many did it kill, though?
I see in the kill feed, Unkoe's got 3 to his credit. Yeah, so if the bomb didn't kill them, he at least finished them off with his regular fire. So Unknown staying in control here, and with only 15% left, IDDQD has to make a move. Oh, what just happened there? Pluppie, it looks like, got taken out in the far back line. That's not good for IDDQD. They do have a teleporter up near the point, but we'll see if they're going to be able to actually rally here. AKM, looks like Nadir on Soldier doing a good job keeping everyone at bay. Cocco's not going to be able to get in there. Nbrgivup does pop his sound barrier now to give some extra HP. There's a pulse bomb sticky. AKM got it right onto Mendo. Good stuff there for Team Unknown. It looks like they're going to take point B, and we're going to get that point C that you were talking about.
Nice, and we're finally going to get one. I bet Chips must have seriously thought he had it with that Transcendence. The entire team on the point. It looks so good for IDDQD there. And then that Pulse Bomb. Initially, I just heard a pop and I was like, oh, what happened there? And I looked at the kill field and I went, whoa, that was insane. So Chips must have been beating himself up over that. I think he thought the job was done, but that was really, really nicely played there by Unknowns.
It's really tough when the pulse bomb does actually land a sticky on someone. It's hard to know, like, you're only paying attention to the tracer generally. If a sticky bomb flies out and hits a teammate and you back into them and die, it's like you can only blame yourself or your teammate, unfortunately, for that. But it's hard to keep track when you've got a tracer blinking all over you. So the pulse bombs can score 3 and 4 kills pretty often on these point control maps where everyone's very tightly bound close together trying to stay on the point. And we can see now, again, point doesn't open for a little while, so everyone's just kind of duking it out here on the left side of my POV here, just shooting back and forth across this hallway. Sometimes you see the same fight take place on the other side, so that whenever the team that wins prevails, they just drop down onto the point itself. And you can see Unknown is going to make the first move over to the point. No one's really scored a lot of kills yet. Nadir is the first one to die, but Unknown does actually take control of the point to start us off.
And I like that from Unknown as well. They were saying, well, hang on a second, we can still continue duking it out for them, but can we at least have 1 or 2 of our players on the point so that we get first dibs on the capture, we get a couple of % lead. They weren't trying to all collapse on the point, they just wanted to have it initially, and then they went back to fighting their individual battles. I thought that was really good. And this dynamic on the last point is also really different, Joshy, because if you accidentally lose your step, of course, you can fall to your death or if you're delayed by someone as well, so you do have to watch out a little bit now.
It's interesting that you point that out, and no one has really swapped their composition at all to try and make use of that cliff. You've got a Lucio on either side. Oh, Chips gets booped right off during Transcendence. That's not going to save his life. Not enough HP in the world to save you from falling off the ledge. Ask any Roadhog who's fallen off.
Indeed, and that was the first casualty off the cliff.
AKM just fell off as well.
It would be nice to see a couple of boots.
Yeah, AKM falling off, giving out the smiley face there. Not great for Unknown. They are up 41% to 14 right now, but only 2 members standing here for IDDQD. Now they are starting to trickle back in, and it looks like Unknown is going to try to group up. But yeah, no one playing Pharah to try and knock people off with the concussive rocket. No Winston's to try and knock people off with the ult. Roadhog with the hook can actually pull people toward him and just drop them into the pit. There's a nice ultimate from Nadir. It looks like they are all staying with their divide and conquer strategies of soldiers and tracers, but a big firefight out on the point. Ultimates going off every which direction. Couple of pulse bombs, couple of tactical visors. I see a teleporter. IDDQD's teleporter was just destroyed by Unkoe. Good job there. And the point is going to go back to Unknown. 40 to 40 basically here on point C. Winz is the last man standing though, is going to fall, and IDDQD will reclaim it rather swiftly.
That was really interesting from Unknowns, actually. You could see them hanging outside the building for quite a while, waiting to group up, waiting to use those trades as effectively as possible. It paid off for them in the end, but they didn't have any staying power on the point. And just as quickly as they take it, they cede control once again to IDDQD. Winz the only person at the moment with an ultimate out on the field. And, well, that's a teleporter. That's great, but that doesn't actually kill anyone in the firefight right now. They're going to be moving in once again to see if they can sneak one in sideways. And we have quite, I think, 3 people on the point now, including Soon on Lucio.
Yeah, they're often on the point. Usually Lucio is kind of like the mainstay where they're just going to stick on the point because he's got the ability to knock people off, clearly. Pulse Bomb goes out but doesn't actually catch anyone that time around, and only the tracers are left for IDDQD. They're slowly going to get picked apart as well. InternetHulk followed by Mendo, both going down to Nadir and Unkoe respectively. 79% for IDDQD. They're going to have to regroup. Thankfully, Tracer is very quick at getting back to the group. You can see Unkoe and AKM hiding here right around the corner waiting, and Pluppie knows it. You can hear with that full Atmos surround sound. You can hear footsteps, so it looks like they were prepared for it. They came around the corner, and no one really killed anyone, but now Unknown is tying things up percent-wise like you wanted to see. There's that sound barrier from IDDQD, and InternetHulk got 3 kills. Pluppie got the next 3, and just like that, IDDQD has entirely wiped Unknown.
I think what happened was Soon was going to pop his own sound barrier, and you literally heard, now let's break it, and I think at that point his neck broke, because that was it. He was spawning back with his ultimate still available.
They had a
so
teleporter,
unfortunately his timing is not quite working out, but he has got that sound barrier if he wants to pop it now if he needs to. It looks like Unknowns, though, might be able to take the control point without it, but ooh, once that sound barrier comes on, he only actually affects 2 of his teammates.
Tranquility.
I'm not sure about this, Joshy.
The teleporter totally tricked me. I was watching them all the way at their spawn. They all went through the teleporter at the exact same time, used up all the charges, but IDDQD was very quick to respond, and it looks like they are going to take this point. AKM has a chance here to contest and extend that overtime, but I don't believe anyone else is really going to be able to get in there. It's just streaming in single file. Yeah, it's not going to work out for them. IDDQD does take game number 3 on Nepal.
Wow. And that's going to put them 2-1 up. That was really close. I wanted double 99% overtime is what I was really aiming for. And we didn't get too far off that, to be fair. All right, InternetHulk with the play of the game from Tracer. It's about time we had a Tracer play of the game. We've had quite a lot of them.
Oh, let's break it.